listening to Living with ADHD and CPTSD, available on Apple and wherever you get your podcasts.
Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of Living with ADHD and CPTSD. And today will be part 2 of a 4-step processing with a part continuing from yesterday's episode. And this is hopefully going to just be about the acknowledgement and appreciation stage of the 4-step process. So why don't I begin and then we can get started and get on to step 4 after, of course. Okay, so as you know, yesterday I started my 4-step process. I listened to the parts, found out who they were, got a name, got an age, determined what their purpose was in my life when they were born, And then I did a second step, or most of it anyways. I may have to do some more, but the second step was feeling the emotions, to basically be with the part and feel what their emotions are in regards to the pain and the trauma that they suffered through. So now we move on to step 3, which, as I've said, is acknowledging and accepting and appreciating the part for what they've done for you, and showing them gratitude and kindness and compassion, to basically show them that you love them and appreciate them, because you're trying to build towards getting trust. All right, here we go. Okay, so I was talking with the anxiety part yesterday, and we got to near the end of the second step in the 4-step process. Now, what I'm doing is I'm going to just, before I do step 3, I'm just going to check with him, because it has been a day since we did the second step of sitting with the emotions and feeling them from the part. So I'm just going to double check and make sure that everything is okay, see if there's anything else that he wants to talk about before we move on to the third step. So I'm checking with him. I'm asking him again if there is anything else that he would like to share, if there are any other emotions that maybe weren't around yesterday that are now. He's already feeling better, but he does still acknowledge and show that he was feeling a lot of sadness and being scared, and definitely there was a lot of anger and frustration from him due to the way that he was treated as a child at 5 years old. All right. Okay, he says that he doesn't have anything else, and we're going to move on to step 3. Okay, step 3. Acknowledging the part. Okay, this is where I actually talk to the part, and I do it in a really great, loving, caring, kind way, and showing compassion and kindness. And then showing it that I'm very grateful and very happy that this part came into my life. Thank you, anxiety part. I am very happy, and I love the fact that you're in my life. I love you and all that you've done for me. You had every right to feel scared and sad and angry because of this situation that you were put in, because you were an innocent child and you did not deserve to be treated the way you were. You had every right. And I am very proud of you for being there to be born and to protect me while I was in danger. You had every right to feel that way, and I appreciate you. I think you are an amazing part. I think you did a ton of good, and I'm very proud of you, and I think that you're an amazing part. You're an amazing 5-year-old part, and I just wanted to show you from me, the adult, that I am very grateful and very lucky that you came around when I was needing to be taken care of, and when you were born, because the situation of my life was very harmful and very hard on me when I was at that age, and you came around and you protected me. You were able to do things for me that I was not able to do because of the fact that it was too much, and I wasn't able to take care of myself as the 5-year-old child at that point in time. You are an amazing, caring, and strong part, and you are wonderful and courageous, and you are so cool that today I appreciate that you are still protecting me at times when I feel overwhelmed and I'm feeling very anxious. You come on and you take over and you try to help me overcome my anxiety by protecting me and saying things that to those people so that I can have a chance at not having to deal with what is going on in the moment. And I think that you have done so much for me in that time that I just want to make sure that you realize that you deserve to be loved and to be cared for. And your time is coming where instead of you looking after me and you watching over me and protecting me when things get hard and things are overwhelming for me, that you're the one that's going to get looked after, that I'm going to take care of you. I want you to realize that today things no longer need to have protection from you because I know that I can do this. And I know that I am capable of being there when things get overwhelming and I feel anxious and stress in my life. And it may be difficult to understand at first when this occurs, but I think that because of your help and your guidance and your strong, amazing nature and your toughness and your durability and stubbornness that you showed when you needed to be there, that I am who I am today because of your amazing abilities and your kindness and your strength that you provided me when I wasn't able to at that time. I think that you deserve to be recognized and you deserve to be appreciated to the fullest extent, and you deserve to be able to relax now and be able to be with the adult as one together, and together you and I can help each other, but I will look after you now when things are tough and times may feel hopeless and distraught and you feel like you're never going to be able to move forward or you're always going to have a problem, that you need to step in order to protect me. But I want you to know that it's time for me to do that for you now. I'm going to give to you what you deserved back, oh my Lord, 38 years ago, or 39 years ago, when I was 5, and I called out for that person to not do what they've done to me, to not spank me repeatedly, very aggressively when I did something by accident and didn't mean to cause trouble. I'm going to be that one that is going to be able to step in and stop this. I'm not going to let harm come to you. I'm not going to allow this to occur ever again, because I am an adult and I am in control of my life. And you deserve to feel what it's like to be loved and cared for and understood when there's a misunderstanding or when something has gone wrong, and you try to explain that none of what you did was intentional, and sometimes things happen and there is nothing we can do about it, and we just need to be brave and stand up for ourselves and say what needs to be done. So thank you, part. You are an awesome part. And I appreciate everything that you've done for me, and I love you very much. And I hope that in the future, the next time I ever have a trigger and I'm feeling anxious, that I'll be able to see the honest truth and the reality of the situation, that I am safe and that I, as the adult, can take care of us, and I will be able to stay in control and keep us safe from harm's way. You won't have to do that anymore. So thank you. I think you're one of the best parts of my life when I grew up. And everything you did for me was well deserved and it was the right thing, and everything that you've done was like I said, incredibly brave. So I am happy for you to finally be able to feel that you can finally feel free and not have to worry about me anymore, and come rescue me in times of hard times and when we don't get understood and we feel like we're going to be treated unfairly and treated in a way that we don't deserve to be treated. So once again, thank you. Okay, so what we do now is we're going to just take a bit of time just to kind of reflect and let the part take everything in, and kind of like observe the part, see how it is doing after. And then what we can do is when we think that the part is ready for the next step, then what we would do is we would ask that part up front if that part is trusting of the adult, if it thinks that the adult is capable of taking care of not only the anxiety part, but other parts that also exist and are there to protect the child. So I'm going to give them a bit of time, and while I'm allowing the part to take some time, I'm going to just discuss with you how a lot of the times when you're doing the 4-step process, as you are well aware, and I discussed in the first episode, and I have discussed in other episodes that I have talked about CPTSD when it comes to processing. Also, when I talked about the structural dissociation theory in an episode about a month or so ago, and I was very adamant, and I wanted to make clear to everybody out there when they were listening to that podcast, is that when you're doing, especially if the part has gone through an awful lot, and it was very bad and it was very damaging, and the trauma and the re-experiencing of the trauma that came in that day back when, however old you might have been, if it was really painful, there's a good possibility that you're going to work in step 1 or even step 2 for a very long time. Because if the part has a lot of work to do, like we have a lot of work to do with that part, and it has a lot of like damage that needs to be repaired, a lot of work, a lot of like showing it that, updating it, learning to gain its trust so that we can update it and hopefully one day have it heal or have us combine neurologically to become one. It is a possibility that it could take a very long time. It might take a week. It could go a month. You might go several. It depends on how on the severity level of it. And a lot of times you have to come back, especially if you really want to start the process of healing and gaining the system's trust, especially if you've got multiple parts that are all going on at the same time or at different times. You need to repeat your steps. Like you need to, like multiple times a day is definitely a recommended way of going about the process. Like you can, there's no rule saying that you have to do 3-4 times in a day. There is no rule. That's not saying that you must in order to heal. It's just that if you're only going to do once a day, like let's say at night before you go to bed, and you're going to process then, and you're going to do it on a daily basis, just once, the amount of time that it's going to take for you to have that part gain gain that part's trust and move forward, it's going to take a lot longer amount of time to get to the next part, to have them trust you, and then obviously to continue to update them and to continue their healing process. So if you are strong enough and you're determined and you really have really good, like you're a hardworking person and you're determined and you have a lot of dedication towards healing from your trauma, if you did it 2-3 times a day, and I know that there are some people who do it 4 times or even more, you're going to speed up the process that it takes to heal, because it's the more you talk about what's going on, the more you try to gain that trust of the part by feeling their emotions and listening to them and have them be able to talk to you about what they experienced back in that time. They're going to gain they're going to be trustworthy of you. They're going to think that you're trustful, and they're going to want to explain and show more, because you might, like those first few times that you do the processing, there's a good chance that you might not get a lot. You might only get so much information from them. And if you are continually talking to them and saying, okay, how are you doing today? Do you have anything that you'd like to talk about? Is there anything that has happened in the last few hours? Or maybe there's something that you weren't able to talk about last time, but now you can. And the more often you do this sort of work, the faster they're going to trust you. And it's if you think about it this way, and I'm going to be quick because I want to get back to continuing here. Imagine meeting somebody who you really like, and you meet them or wherever, library or something, and you want to get to know them. That first time, or the first couple of times, they think that you're nice and they want to get to know you, but the level of trust is really small, or maybe not even any right now. Maybe it takes a lot of work to get that person to trust you. And so you have to meet them and talk to them and do different activities and have fun and show, tell them about yourself, learn about them, gain their trust by having them tell you stories and things about them that are interesting or maybe difficult to say. And the more that you do this, the faster that person is likely going to start to trust you, to the point where maybe you'll be able to move on to a really serious relationship and grow from there. It takes time. It's not going to happen in the first 2-3 times that you process with that part. I know it, for some people, it might be difficult or frustrating to hear that, but honestly, that is reality when it comes to processing with your parts and doing the steps to heal, so that you can be a better, mentally stronger, and the next time a trigger occurs, that you'll be able to gain control back immediately and recover from it right away, or it doesn't do anything to you at all. Okay, so there we go. That's a good explanation. Okay, so I'm going to check in with this part now, and so let's do that. Okay, all right. Hi, anxiety. Is there anything that you would like to say? Do you feel that you find me trustworthy? Do you think that I am someone that, if I were to tell you that the next time something bad happens, and the possibility that you could get triggered and come online and attempt to blend with the adult, do you think, or do you believe that you can trust me, that I will say, and that I will be able to keep you out of harm's way, and I will protect you? Do you trust me? Okay, so he doesn't answer right away. Obviously, he's probably just checking, because he is a part of me. He may not be an adult. He may have childlike behaviors and thoughts, and the way he does his life is, but he is like me. And when it comes to something that's serious or important like this, he's not going to answer immediately. He's not going to say, "Oh yeah, I'm good." He's going to think about it, because he wants to be sure. He has a bit of skepticism, although most of my parts do, and the adult as well has some skepticism when it comes to things, just because they want to be sure. They want to be thorough, and they don't give trust away easily. And I definitely don't. That's a for sure thing. Okay, he says he does trust me. He thinks that I am capable. Obviously, we're going to do some work down the road, and we're going to do some future processing as well. We're not going to just stop here. So we are getting closer and closer to being able to have full trust and full integration into our neural pathways, so that the next time something triggers us or triggers me, that instead of the anxiety part taking over and saying something that could not be appropriate or potentially dangerous, or not dangerous, harmful or inappropriate, and that might be regretful in the future, that the adult will be able to step in and do an adult-like behavior, and if there is any conflict, it'll be over right away, and minimal damage, if any damage. Okay, perfect. All right, so what I'm going to do is I am going to do an update. I think what I'm going to do is the next 2 episodes, I am going to do more processing with a different part, which I think would be fun, because now we'll be able to go even deeper, and we'll go really into it. I'll see if I can maybe find a part that I am not aware of, and if not, maybe I will try to connect with a part that I am less familiar with, to give you guys a more broader and real in-depth report, like update, and see, really, really thorough, a more intense update, or 4-step process. All right, here we go with the update. All right, high anxiety part, okay. You're an amazing part. I just want you to know that today is May 6th, 2022. I am now 44 years old. I'm actually 2 months shy of 2 months, 44 years and 2 months. And I live in this amazing house in Edmonton, Alberta. And I live with my incredible, loving girlfriend of almost 3.5 years. Yes, we have been through ups and downs, but we are definitely working hard to make things work and to move forward. So I just want you to understand, part, that you are no longer in 1983. I am no longer 5. I no longer live with my parents, and they do not control me anymore. I am the one who's in control of my life. I am the only one who decides who gets to do what and who gets to say what to me and tell me what to do. And if I am in trouble, I take responsibility for my actions and my behaviors. And I will never allow us to be hurt in the way that we were hurt back when we were 5. I will not allow this to ever happen again. And I just want you to know that. I realize that it may take some more work for you to fully 100% trust me. And that is your right, and I appreciate that. And thank you for allowing me to discuss this with you today, and to be able to update you and show you what today is like, what present time is. I have always had a problem when it comes to dealing with anxious moments, and I have always been grateful that you have been there when I needed help, when I wasn't able to do the right thing. And because today is 2022 and I am no longer a 5-year-old child, that you are no longer required to look after me. I am the one who will look after us. You and all my other parts that are born to take care of me. I will take care of everyone. And I want you to realize that I am so thankful and appreciate everything that you've done for me up to today and possibly even in the future. So thank you, part. Thank you, anxious part. I love you so much, and I think you are an amazing part, and you've done so much for me in my entire life. Well, at least from the age of 5 onwards. All right, there we go. Okay, so I realize this is not exactly, like I said earlier in yesterday's episode, this is not exactly what you would call a typical or average common 4-step process. It did go quicker than I anticipated when I started. I was thinking that it would take a lot longer, and that to do the 4-step process would go over all 4 episodes that I had planned to do. But that's not a bad thing. It gives you a good taste of what it's like to do a 4-step process, even if it was a quicker processing than what I thought it would happen. The basis of it is pretty much that way. So you have to take the time before you start to do your grounding and be calm and unblended before you can do your 4 steps, obviously. Once you can get to there, then you're on your way. And it's good, it's an amazing thing. once you start doing it. And the more you start doing it, the better it will go for you. It still might take a long time depending on which part you're talking to and the severity of the trauma that they've experienced. All right, that was part 2. Stay tuned next week. A week from yesterday, there will be part 3 and then the last part of this 4-episode series on a week from today, where we will wrap up and we will give everybody the opportunity to. We'll do a quick review as well. We'll just do a wrap up and make sure everybody is aware of this. Of if there's any questions, and then of course you can contact me. All right, everybody. Have a great day, and I'll talk to you next week.